Welcome back, people. You got actually Amungus here, your coach of the Atlanta Sobble, and we have another NPA draft battle video for you today. This time we're going up against a familiar coach. I've enjoyed the times, we played certain games together, but especially enjoyed our first match we ever had together in the PWD. The last week of the season was one of my favorite matches of that draft season, which obviously was a great season for me. Ended up placing second in the league. We got King Sosa, coach of the Los Angeles Infernape. I don't know what else I can say. The man needs little to no introduction, although if you are being introduced to King Sosa for the first time, I'll make sure his link's down in the description. Make sure you drop that sub on him and, all those things. King Sosa is a very good battler, posts a lot of draft content. We're in multiple leagues together. Chill dude, man, all those things. If you enjoy this content, I am sure you'll enjoy Sosa's as well. So stop by over there, show some love to the other coaches in the NPA. Everybody's working hard. Matter of fact, you can tell everybody's working so hard because I got a great team. I feel like my draft went absolutely amazing. And right now, the Atlanta Sobble are sitting at 0-2 in an uphill battle. So you know that the teams and the coaches have come ready every week in this league. I mean, one of my goals in some of the draft leagues that I've been doing in between PWD seasons is trying to lessen the amount of time that I've spent on prep. There's one league that I've been doing where I kind of like limit myself to try to get it done in a certain amount of time. Some of my battles I've done in an hour, but I'm trying to refine the prep process. But being 0-2, facing a talented opponent like Coach Sosa, I had to ramp it up a little bit more this week, work a lot harder on my prep. So we brought this lead. Looking at both sides of the matchups, I was thinking that this might be his lead as well, Vikavolt, and I got the lead matchup correct because speed control and sticky webs was actually really good, would allow his Cinderace to just dominate against me. So we brought the overheat eject pack Entei to get as much damage off as we could on the Vikavolt. Unfortunately, we don't end up picking up the kill, but we do a lot of work, we do a lot to get that Vikavolt far down. Obviously if we would have picked up the kill there, that would have been monumental and would have forced him to bring out probably his Cobalion or Piloswine on my Triagonal, but maybe, just maybe, I could bring out the Cinderace earlier in the game and try to my best to get that threat out of the way before it really affect and damage my team. Unfortunately, that's not the way it worked out. We do end up getting paralyzed by the Thunder Wave, and he switches to Piloswine on the predicted Sticky Web because, that's the tactic that I like to go for, so I kind of assumed that maybe he would do the same. In PWD Season 1, I had drafted Ribombee, and my favorite set to run was Stun Spore to speed control the first Pokemon that comes out, and then Sticky Web, which can speed control the rest of the team. So that's what I thought he was going to go for there. We get off the knockoff on the Piloswine. Honestly, this thing is troublesome throughout the entire battle. I'm just going to spoil that much. This thing is annoying, ain't even the word. This thing is, well, just to put it simply, this thing is amazing for King Sosa. This thing, I can only imagine. What I'm trying to get at is I can only imagine what kind of bulk that thing would have brought throughout this battle if it wasn't for that knocking off the Eviolite. because that thing is a problem. More than I definitely expected. Even though I did prep, I kind of looked at Piloswine and was like, alright, I am bringing a few things that can deal with that. I think I'll be fine. And I definitely underestimated that particular Pokemon. One of my better plays right here was honestly reading this Leech Seed. You know, the Toxic, the Azumarill is kind of basically a sack at this point. It's definitely going to become a sack once I take Leech Seed and poison damage on this turn. But I didn't want to get the next thing that I switched in Leech Seeded, and I kind of predicted that he would go for that, so I just went ahead and stayed in. Went for damage, and I think that worked out a little bit better for me than obviously the alternative. So maybe I could have used this Cryogonal a little more to like hold it back and save its sash, because obviously it was switching into an attack on this turn. I didn't know that Sosa, you know, what Sosa would go for, if they would predict the switch and go for a Moonblast or what. But I didn't take that much damage, so we just end up going for a pretty free attack. Unfortunately, the Paralyze stops us from doing that, so it could have been a tiny little bit of chip damage on there. And maybe I could have sacked this thing at this point, but instead we had decided to go for Landorus here. Get the Intimidate off on this, and obviously is a good defensive Pokemon as well. We got a Swords Dance set, but we got some attack and some defense on the Landorus this week to try to tank hits a little bit. I predict that my opponent's probably going to switch here, and looking at what he brought on his team, I'm thinking most likely, because Vikavolt can't really hit me, he'll probably go for Hydreigon to predict the Earthquake. So we go for Superpower here and get a key kill on the Hydreigon, because we're able to predict that coming in. However, dropping my Landorus' attack, it's kind of like not that good right now. It's not got full investment on attack anyway, so, and just enough speed to outspeed, you know, honestly, I don't think he even brought the Pokemon I was trying to outspeed. Yeah, I don't have my notebook on me, I don't remember. But I don't think he brought the Pokemon that I was trying to outspeed. Maybe it was, I think it was Hydreigon, but only modest Hydreigon. Maybe. Like I said, I don't have my notes on me, so I don't remember exactly what the speed was for. But obviously I dropped a little bit of attack and speed to make for some defense. Goes for the Ice Shard here, predicting that. I try to sack my Azumarill, but I end up living on 1 HP. So I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'll get a free Aqua Jet off. But that allows Sosa to get off very, very much free Stealth Rock. And so that's pretty unfortunate. Our Rapid Spinner is paralyzed, but you know, I'm kind of honestly thinking at this point when I see the Stealth Rocks come up, maybe my Cryogonal, my Cryogonal should, I'm pretty sure, yeah, my Cryogonal is max speed, and I don't know, I didn't prepare as extensively as I should have for Piloswine, but I'm willing to gamble on trying to outspeed here, even though I'm paralyzed. And so, we're going to come out and go for the Rapid Spin. But, unfortunately, we're going to get paralyzed again. And, nothing I can do about that. This Pokemon, this hacks. or maybe more accurately, I should have sacked it earlier probably, because now Cinderace is gonna come out and it's gonna be able to take me down easily. I'm trying not to talk too ahead of the battle here because I am like half a turn ahead. But Sosa's gonna Dynamax here, and he's gonna go for the Max Knuckle, and obviously that's gonna make this thing a big threat to my team. But more importantly, is what it does is it kind of forces me into my next move. Trying to buy my time for the animations to play, but for my next move, I'm thinking when I see him Dynamax, you know, there's not really anything that Cinderace can bring that's amazing, like really amazing to hit Landorus with. So we're gonna go ahead and bring that back in, drop the attack back down. Oh wait, I forgot, my mistake. I have to go and make a misplay before I do that. Really for no reason too, because I kind of knew the calculations on this play before I made it, and ended up throwing away my Gengar here, which is really unfortunate because this is kind of when this battle starts to turn to Sosa's favor. Because not only do I get rid of my Scarf User here, which could have been very useful, but I also allow him to get off a Max Airstream, and that's just really, really unfortunate and unnecessary, because I had a better plan to try to effectively deal with this thing when I was in preparation, you know, with Landorus and that kind of thing. So mistakes were made. I try to, that's one of the reasons why I record my videos after I do the battle. The number one reason is to try to focus on the battle at the time and avoid mistakes like that. But, you know, we're all human, it still happens. But the other reason is so that I can look at the battle after doing the battle and kind of look at my plays and be like I was with that Gengar play. I knew that I was really only going to do, especially to the G-Max form, I knew I couldn't OHKO even if it wasn't Dynamax. So therefore, if it's not doing 100% to the regular form, when you double its HP, that means it's not even doing 50%. I knew I would be doing about 35 or 40%. Maybe I got a good 45 there, you know, probably, I don't know. But I knew that wasn't going to kill him. And you know, that's one of the reasons I record my videos after doing the battle, so I can look back at things like that and be like, you know, these are the things that swing draft battles. You gotta do the prep and then you got to follow it as well. So that's, you know, that's what they call execution. Anyway, we stole out his lax turn to Dynamax with the Max Guard, and we go for our own Max Airstream. But we're unable to get off 2 Max Airstreams because he's actually going to bounce on this turn. And, you know, that's actually a really smart play on Sosa's part. I brought a Power Herb in order to hit Whimsicott with, so I couldn't get like Giga Drain to death. And I couldn't have done the same tactic, but I could have at least tried it during his G-Max. If I would have went to Landorus immediately, not brought the Power Herb. It was, I guess I'm just saying that it was a smart idea. I like that idea on Coach Sosa's side. Pretty good play. Worked out for him, even though the bounce missed and that kind of thing. I still like the play. I think that he knows that when he makes that play, he knows that there's a chance for that move to miss. But I think that he would probably agree that it was worth it to make it, even if you assess play as if it was going to miss. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. But then, he burns the Dynamax turns, Max Guard, when I have the Max Guard, the Cinderace, and then he burns the second turn with the Bounce. So when he goes to Piloswine, I'm in my little form, I took a little bit of damage, and I go down to the Ice Shard. I don't know what his EV spread on this Piloswine was, but good on little guy, because, it is unfortunate to me, or for me and my team, but I do like seeing interesting Pokemon like that. Obviously, Mamoswine, its evolved form, is a staple and competitive and a freaking monster to deal with. It could be offensive monster or defensive monster. But this Piloswine right here is actually going to tank this Flame Charge, which I could have prepped more for the Piloswine and known what my calcs were to deal with this, because this really only does about 25%, and maybe not even that. So I really needed to know what this damage was going to be before I clicked that move, and that's on me. We ended up throwing away our Entei as well after throwing away the Gengar. Really unfortunate, and all we have left is this Urshifu. We can't Dynamax, well, Gigantamax in this case, the Urshifu, but we do outspeed everything that he has alive naturally, except for the Whimsicott. So basically, I guess you could say I'm thinking it should be alright. I should have probably gone for the bulk up, knowing that he knows I'm faster. The Ice Shard was going to come out either way. Being a fighting type, I was going to eat it either way. That was really my chance to maybe give myself a chance. Especially considering that instead of +1, after this turn, I'm now -1 because of the close combat. +1 Earthquake probably could have worked. That kind of, or not Earthquake, Rock Slide could have worked, and that kind of thing. Probably, it was at extremely low health, but that thing had been taking hits. That was just a short-sighted play. That Piloswine had done enough work against my team to kind of justify making that play. I think that the misplays that I made earlier in the game were a little bit more impactful, but like I said, that's kind of why I do these videos the way I do it. I don't claim to be perfect. Match when I'm doing the recording and analyze them then, so that I can look at those plays and get better next time I go into any draft league or draft battle. I remember what my prep is. I'm more likely to remember what my prep is, trust the prep, remember my damages, not make those simple mistakes. So we're gonna try to bring it back with Urshifu here. End up taking out the Piloswine, taking out the Vikavolt, taking out the Whimsicott, and only the Cobalion remains. Obviously it has that justified ability, so we didn't even bring a dark type move this week, knowing that it can switch in and probably ruin my day. However, unfortunately, it appears to be a Scarf Cobalion because it outspeeds the Urshifu, takes me down. Does also make worth to note that that kinda makes it so I didn't need the bulk up, like, that bulk up play, how I was saying the other misplays I made were a little bit worse. Like when I look back at the bulk up, the missed opportunity, yes, it was a missed opportunity, but Sacred Sword ignores defense buffs, and I would have been at +0 instead of -1, and I just don't know. the other misplays I made, you know, if I could have sent out my own Scarf Gengar and not thrown that away at the end of the battle, that would have been probably a little bit better than trying to figure out if a Bulk Up and a Sacred Sword interacted in the right way. I know that Gengar is faster than Cobalion, and Choice Scarf is going to make it even faster still. But anyway, I'm rambling on about that, and I should end this video with one more shout out to Coach Sosa. Like I said, his link will be in the description. And with that, I'm signing off. Peace.